an appeal that everybody likes. I was reared on the edge of the Jesse James country out in Missouri, and I visited the James farm at Carnegie, Missouri, where the son of Jesse James was then living. His wife told me stories of how Jesse robbed his train and helped up banks and then gave money to the neighboring farmers to pay off their mortgage. Jesse James probably regarded himself as an idealistic at heart, just as Dutch Schwartz took on. Crowley, Al Capone, and many other organized crime godfathers did generations later. The fact is that all people you meet have a high regard for themselves and like to be fine and unselfish in their own estimation. J.P. Paul Morgan observed in one of his analytical interludes that a person usually has two reasons for doing a thing, one that sounds good and a real one. The person himself will think of the real reason. You don't need to emphasize that. But all of us, being idealistic at heart, like to think of motives that sounds good. So in order to change people, appeal to the nobler motives. Experience has taught me, says Mr. Thomas, that when no information can be secured about the customer, the only sound basis on which to proceed is to assume that he or she is sincere, honest, truthful, and willing and anxious to pay the charge once convinced they are correct. To put it differently and perhaps more clearly, people are honest and want to discharge their obligations. The exceptions to that rule are comparatively few, and I'm convinced that the individuals who are inclined to chisel will in most cases react favorably if you make them feel that you consider them honest, upright, and fair. Principle 10. Appeal to the nobler motives.